Hey all, Russ RVerTV, welcome. Check it out. We're in Tybee Island, Georgia. Right on the coast. I'd say the extreme northeast part of Georgia. Right on the old Atlantic Ocean. Just left that Fort Pulaski. What incredible, I keep saying incredible place that was. That huge brick fort with all the history, fingerprints, cannons, the outside all just blown to pieces. Incredible. Ever get a chance, go there. Alright, well this is downtown. I was coming down to see what it was down here. I'm gonna backtrack. I'm spending the night at an RV park at the other end of town. Gonna get the e-bike out. We're gonna go see a museum, lighthouse, all kinds of cool stuff. And big chance of rain as well. Well, I'm kind of looking at the map on the phone here. Ocean straight out. But we're kind of, I guess, residential area. There are apartments on top of apartments or condos with a view, I guess, of the ocean. Well, I'm going to head back to the other end of town. I want to get parked. There is a big chance of rain coming in. It is hot and humid, and it could steam up and get thunderstorms here in a split second. Yeah, those are what, like 3-story buildings? They gotta get a storm surge here when those big hurricanes come roaring in. Looks like the bottoms are all garages. Then the living quarters is your second story here. Bet those go for some big bucks, huh? Room with a view. And today's the last day that we're going to be on the coast. I'm going to start trucking west. Ever notice what light colors a lot of these coastal buildings have? Like pinks and turquoise and blues. A lot of trees here too. Yeah, we're just kind of trucking and following along the ocean. The other end of town where I'm going to ride the e-bike around where the lighthouse, there's a museum inside the old concrete fort. This was a battery to protect the coastal areas. It's supposed to have old remnants of guns and all kinds of cool history. And that big lighthouse they have here. That business was called the Waves or Wave or something like that. It's a surf shop. Very fitting name. Get a Surfboard at the wave. Heck yeah. Alright, well, it's about a mile and a half up here. I just drove down this way. I won't bore you with that. Alright, should be up there in just a few. Grab our campsite. Alright, here's home for the night. Rivers and Campground. The entrance should be up here. There's a lot of rigs in there. Wow. And these trees. Pretty darn cool. Alright, made it. I will get parked. It's in the afternoon. I don't know if I'll explore later today, or maybe first thing in the morning we'll take a bike ride. I know they're calling for a lot of rain, but we'll find out. Alright, let me get checked in here. Good morning. It poured all night. Quit raining a little while ago. You can see the pavement still wet, but it was coming down in buckets. Welcome to Georgia. You can see where the gravel washed away here. I haven't been in that kind of heavy rain in quite a while. Nice place though, nice, real nice people that work in the office here. Very helpful. They said if I wanted, I could even have a little later checkout. So here's some puddles. I'm going to go down to the lighthouse, then we'll find that museum. All that opens up low after 9 o'clock. We'll do some exploring, and I'll come back, get the van. I want to do a few miles this afternoon. A lot of rigs in here, though. This campground's kind of right in the middle of the residential area. And then when you look, here's another big puddle. There's historic sites all over. They even have a condo built on top of part of the fort. I'm going to try to find it. All right, well, I'm just kind of following my little plan I made this morning. Should make a left up here. Like all these buildings, there's history in almost everything around here that goes back to all the wars and the forts and everything. Okay, here's the police department. This should be the first one on the right. Yep. Big old brick bunker or something. Built in 1900. Look at that old concrete structure. It was a battery. 1900. 12-inch steel mortars were fired out of this thing. Had 4 guns. Cost $125,000 in 1900 to build it. There's the blueprints. The major it's named after. Oh, they even have old pictures of what it looked like back then with the soldiers. My goodness. That is something. This is like a residential area. There's a tree service, and you got a big old battery. That's what, 1900. My goodness. 100 plus years old. The ocean is right over those condos there. Lighthouse. That's what we're looking for. Condos everywhere here, or apartments. All right, up here should be that other concrete. See, there's concrete there too, where they built homes on top of them. Where is it? Here it is. My goodness. Got the old stairs, everything. That's part of the old fort. Huh. I sure am glad I brought the e-bike this year. What a game changer for getting around these areas. There's the lighthouse. More of the old fort to the left. Private parking. We got a bike. There's a lighthouse. Probably ain't quite open yet. I'm going to go across the street and find that museum. I see a couple bike racks where I can lock the bike up here too. Hope it don't get rained on. All those concrete buildings on the left, that's part of the old fort. Looks like they've converted them into businesses. Could you imagine being here back then? My goodness. All right, I believe this is our museum. I got about 20 minutes to goof off here. There it is. All right. Battery Garrison in the museum. This ought to be fun. All right, I'll wait a little bit and we'll get on in these places. Yeah, it wasn't bad. They're opening up now. Looks like there's a fee to get in. But I think they have little buildings we can walk through the keeper's house. I'm going to lock the bike up here. We'll do a little bit of exploring right here at Tybee Island in Georgia. Alright, I can walk through all the lower buildings. There's a big wait if I want to go all the way up top. I might skip that part. They got groups here. And they go first. They can only allow so many people up. Well, let's go on in and see what we got. Looks like a replica lighthouse. There's a light. Push it. Heck yeah. Bring those ships in safely. A water tank in here. What else we got? Copper kettles, lanterns. Looks like a lighthouse keeper hat. $18.85. First assistant Keeper Cottage. Restored in 2004. Summer kitchen. Restored in the 80s. Well, it's hot enough here, you'd want to cook outside. Looks like a replica of the lighthouse. Things they've been digging up around here. I could only imagine what's buried. You know, back then people buried all their trash. Designs back in the 1800s, or no, 18th century, excuse me. 1700s. Paintings were the old photographs back then. Tell me they didn't have good engineering back then. Look at those drawings. And looks like dishes, pottery, old jug, stuff they dug up around here. Oh, I see they're going through the timeline. 19th century. Yeah, there's our fort. Part of the battle. This area got destroyed with all the artillery. It's still amazing, that fort, where we seen all the damage. All these years later, it's still there. And more history, looks like on the dig sites. There they're pulling out more artifacts. Faces from the past, old lighthouse keepers. Back in the 30s and 40s. Well, once I got on here as a keeper, a lot of them guys worked their entire careers. Look at that, seashells. We are on the ocean. Old pop bottles, beer bottles. That's cool. Here you go, the head keeper's house, 1891. Just like yesterday. Wow. Wood paneling, wood ceiling. A lot of people like to have that stove. You can really smell the wood in here. It's real clean smelling. Old. Has an old smell with the and clean with the wood. Old time sink, eh? Need to call someone? Ring up the operator? Alright, it says elevator for wheelchair, must be an upstairs. Old tubs like that, they're collector's items. People like those old timers. More wood ceilings. Oh, wow. Just really well done woodwork. Fireplace. Old time sewing machine. Keeper's wife would be looking out, sewing the clothes. Kids outside playing. Let's go on up. Oh, the kids that grew up here. Families. Isn't that cool? Memories. There's that fort. So back in the early days, that was an active fort with all the cannons. Now it looks like they got businesses in there. Well, we'll find out when we go to that museum. Another bedroom, probably for the kids. They'd stare out the window. And more beds. This is a pretty big cottage. So you had the main bedroom downstairs, 4 beds up here. And looks like remnants of the past. Baby cribs, strollers, toys. All from way back. There's a picture over here. Let me go take a look at this. Ah, Taffy the dog. Wow, Taffy was here generations ago. What a happy doggy. Part of the Lighthouse family. Very narrow stairs. Okay, I don't think we can get out this way. Here's their living room, it looks like. Setting room, maybe. Whatever they called it. Another fireplace. The furniture. Got an old clock. Well, when they restored this, they did a perfect job. It's even got a radio built in it. That was their entertainment. Picture of mom and the kids. Old time icebox. Well, I think we've seen it all in here. Very, very well done. Well, find out what else we can get into. There's an old lantern. Brass table lamp. I'll be darned. What's this one? Second assistant. Wow, the guy had employees. 1861. A lot of families and people worked here. All right, here's the drawings at the base of the lighthouse with the stairs. I'm not going up. Gotta wait. You can see it's all brick, spiral staircase. This is a tall one too. That's a lot of stairs to climb in here. All right, there's storyboards outside. We'll check those. More of the drawings of this place and the tools they used. And what do we have here? Front light, front range light. Those must be out in the water. Savannah River light. Oh, different lighthouses around this area. It's gonna say it don't look like this one. Stories of the keepers from the past. Looks like some Coast Guard history here. That was probably a big time job to have the keepers job here, the responsibility of it. That's what it used to look like before they built all the homes and condos. A lot different. Now it's like a big residential area around here. And some of the lamps they used. All right, I think we've seen most of it. All kinds of pretty flowers. With this humidity and rain, you don't need to worry about watering them. These were the old outbuildings, garages. That's a gift shop inside there. It was restored in 1998. Built in 1936. More pretty flowers. And the admission I paid is good for the museum across the street, so that's included. So that's where I'm going to head next. Gonna go over there. I'm just gonna walk over. See a storyboard over here. $1 million homes built right next to this concrete garrison. Amazing. Wow, look at that hat. Way back in the mid 1800s. Nothing but guns and troops. Gotta pay to park here, that sign said. All the lives and the people that have been through these buildings. Couldn't even imagine that. Think of the storms that have roared through here. Oh, goodness. Right over top of these concrete buildings, I bet. I think that's a bar or something in there. Some kind of a club.
This one right here has got a neat little story to it. These gals were posing for a promotional ad in one of the great hotels here on Tybee. They got to keep their bathing suits for suits.
Oh my goodness.
And they were rented, so they had to turn them in at the end of each day to be cleaned and re-rented.
I'll be darned.
I'm sure they
All kinds of history here. I mean, even the war stuff, but through the years they had swimsuit models, a lot of promotions to come here, enjoy the beach, stay here in the old hotels. That rifle is about 12 feet long. And there's local history in this museum. She said we can get clear up to the roof. But this is all concrete in here, solid. You never know what you're going to find in these places, these museums like this. It's kind of like a treasure hunt. Treasure hunt for history. Wow. Now, I like that painting. I'd like to have that hanging in your living room. You better need a big living room. Well, let's head up. Old bells. All museums have a bell in it. More old pictures. A lot of young people. The Atlantic Club, 1890. Permanent residents. Yeah, they got houses everywhere here. The golden era, 1920s and 1930s, the roaring 20s. Old swimsuits. Oh, the old box camera. I had one like that when I was a kid. It was an antique then, too. Now I'm the antique. Entrance to the ocean. Everyone's wearing a hat. Exterior of the DeSoto Hotel. All the swimsuit models. DeSoto Beach Club. All getting their picture taken for magazines. Wow, isn't that neat? Alright, this is where all the guns were set up. Pointed out those holes. Right out there at the ocean. Concrete roof. This structure will be here for centuries. More steps to climb. There's a pretty good look at it. You know, in a bad storm, this would be a perfect building to come into. There's our ocean. Last look, Atlantic Ocean. We're out of here tomorrow. We're trucking west. More condos, apartments. That campground I'm staying at is huge. Bet it's full year round. Looks like lots of parking down here. Probably day use if you want to go out and use the beach. And the lighthouse we were just at. Well, thank goodness they repurposed these buildings instead of just tear them down. Because they're still saving history by doing that. more places should do that instead of tearing it down, repurpose the old. Think they had solar panels in the 1800s? Nope. Big old air vent there. Just the thickness of the walls. Concrete that thick. Like I said earlier, this place will be here for centuries. Look how thick that wall is. Well, what a unique place. Right in the middle of a big residential area. Old pistols. Single shot. Those are old, huh? There's the old rifles. Alright, I think we've seen most of this. What do we have back in here? Oh, fake storm. I seen the real one last night. That was impressive. That was a wall of water coming down. Thought the van was gonna float away. List of all the hurricanes come through here. 1964, clear up through 2017, 2023, 24. They even got Hurricane Helene on here. Well, I would feel pretty safe on the upper floor of this concrete building. They ain't going nowhere. Look at that. Here's a marker, 15 feet. I wonder if they get a surge through here. Ooh. Maybe you wouldn't be safe here. 18 feet. That's like that marker we seen at the Outer Banks. Well, there goes my plan B. Pictures about the fort. Military dinners. There's their baseball team in 1931. Oh, look at all the troops coming in. Quite a place to be stationed right on the ocean like this. Must be like a little movie theater. There's a cannon. Maybe they show movies in here or something. Deep sea diving. Those big helmets. Pumping air down to the guys. Working under the ocean. Oh, what's this? Closing the fort, 1944. It was closed. I'll be darned. Just to walk through that building is an experience by itself. You can feel the history in that place. And more out here too. All the battles, all the soldiers, everything. Well, let's go get the bike. I'm gonna head back for the van. We got miles to do today. For more information on my channel, be sure to check out my website, RVerTV.tv. There you sign up for your newsletter. Also, we got a merch shop. Got all kinds of cool stuff. Help support the channel. Future videos like this one, exploring Tybee Island, the great state of Georgia. When you think of Georgia, you don't think of places like this. You think like Atlanta, Coca-Cola, beaches, red clay. There's a board about the lighthouse. But everything goes clear back in the 1700s here. And earlier with the Native Americans. Well, I hope you enjoyed this bonus footage from the 2025 summer travels. Coming up in 2026, we haven't hit the road yet. Gonna be all kinds of cool stuff. But we still have about 3 to 4 more stops from 2025 heading back west. One's Hot Springs National Park. Also, we got the Little White House. All kinds of cool things on the way back home. I would come back here again and explore Savannah area more. There's a lot more to see here. It's just getting near the end of the summer and I have to start trucking home, but you could really spend a lot of time in this area figuring out what's around here, all these old forts and everything. And if I ever came back, I would definitely stay at this river's end. They were very cordial, very nice. Allowed me a late checkout so we could go see the lighthouse and everything this morning. Alright, you know the saying, journey continues. Heck, it never ends. Talk soon.